It all started on a sunny Saturday morning in our quiet suburban neighborhood, the kind where lawns are meticulously trimmed, mailboxes are color-coordinated, and homeowners associations, HOAs, take pride in enforcing rules, sometimes a little too zealously. My wife, Sarah, had just returned home from her weekly volunteer shift at the sheriff's office, parking her car in our own driveway like she always did. It was an ordinary day until Karen, our notorious HOA president, decided it was her duty to protect the neighborhood from chaos. Karen had a reputation. She was the type of person who measured her power in the number of citations she could issue and the number of neighbors she could intimidate into submission. Most of the neighborhood had learned to avoid confrontation with her, but somehow, she had it in her mind that our driveway was her latest battlefield. Sarah had barely stepped out of the car when Karen stormed over, clipboard in hand, face flushed with righteous indignation. "Excuse me, you can't park here. This is a violation of HOA rules," she barked. Her voice carried that unmistakable tone of someone who truly believed she was upholding justice. Sarah, ever patient, smiled politely. "Karen, this is our driveway. We live here. There's no violation." Karen's eyes narrowed. "Rules are rules. I have the authority to." Before she could finish, Sarah calmly held up her hand. "Karen, I think you need to be careful about making threats. You're talking about enforcing the law on me, and I enforce the law for a living." Karen blinked, clearly confused, thinking Sarah was joking. What do you mean?" she stammered. Sarah's tone remained calm but firm. "I'm a sheriff. I have the authority to make arrests if necessary, but I also know the law very well. You are standing in our private driveway, threatening to arrest me for something that's not illegal. I suggest you step back before this escalates." Karen's face turned a shade redder. She opened her clipboard and flipped through papers as if that somehow gave her power over a trained law enforcement officer. I have the right to," Sarah interrupted, a little sharper now. "You do not have the right to arrest me. HOA rules do not give you law enforcement powers. If you attempt to make a citizen's arrest without cause, you could face serious legal consequences." At that moment, a small crowd of neighbors had gathered, sensing the brewing confrontation. Some tried to intervene, others were just curious. Karen, however, was stubborn. She pointed an accusatory finger at Sarah and raised her voice. "I can enforce the rules. I will call the police if you don't move your car." Sarah stepped closer, maintaining eye contact. "Go ahead and call the police. When they arrive, I will gladly show them my badge and ID. This will be over in minutes. You'll just look like someone trying to play sheriff without any authority." Karen's face twitched. It was clear she hadn't anticipated this. She muttered something under her breath, fumbled with her phone, and made a half-hearted call to the local police. When the officers arrived, the scene unfolded like something out of a sitcom. The officers quickly verified Sarah's identity and credentials. Sarah explained the situation calmly, and they, too, had a hard time suppressing their smiles. Karen tried to argue, waving her clipboard around, but the officers were firm. "You don't have law enforcement authority," one said. "You cannot arrest someone for parking in their own driveway. This is a civil matter, not criminal." Defeated and embarrassed, Karen finally backed down. She muttered something about HOA rules being ignored and stomped back toward her house, muttering under her breath. The neighbors, many of whom had witnessed Karen's antics before, exchanged amused glances. Some quietly congratulated Sarah on her composure. As the adrenaline subsided, Sarah turned to me and chuckled. "Well, I guess we just had a live HOA versus sheriff demonstration. I wonder if Karen will ever try that again." The incident quickly became the talk of the neighborhood. Social media posts circulated, some with photos of Karen waving her clipboard like a sword, captioned, "HOA versus sheriff? Who wins?" Our driveway, previously just a place to park our car, had become a symbol of standing up against overreach, especially when you happen to be trained to uphold the law. In the following weeks, the HOA quietly revised some of its enforcement policies to avoid another face-off. Karen, on the other hand, was noticeably more cautious, often peeking from her window before approaching any neighbor about minor infractions. For Sarah and me, it became a story we would tell for years. It wasn't just about parking. It was about respect, authority, and the delicate balance between neighborhood rules and real law enforcement. Karen may have tried to assert her authority, but she had underestimated the power of someone who truly knows the law. And as for me, I couldn't stop laughing that day, thinking of the irony. An HOA president trying to arrest a sheriff in her own driveway. Some days, truth really is stranger than fiction.